Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today on this live event regarding the new package we're releasing, the Avonni Dynamic Component solution for Salesforce. So the goal of this application, the goal of this live event is really to show you all the features of the new Avonni Dynamic Component application. So my name is Cedric Verge. I'm the Customer Success Manager here at Avonni, and I'm also the co-founder. And so I will be your host today to really show you all the features and the benefits of using the Avonni Dynamic Component package on your Salesforce. I'm also the Salesforce no-code expert. I'm doing a lot of things with Avonni on a daily basis, and I know really all the Avonni components by heart. So I'm really happy to be with you today. So this is a live event. All lines are mute. So if you have any question, feel free to post your question in the Q&A box you have within the application. Also, this is a live event, but a recording will be available afterwards. What do we have today on this session? First, I will briefly discuss about the challenges of customizing Salesforce. And then I will talk about, okay, what is the Avonni Dynamic Component Package? And also, what are the benefits of using the Avonni Dynamic Component Package? And one of the things that is also really, really, very important to understand, it's because I know most of you are also using the Avonni components or flows, what are the differences between the dynamic components and the flow components? And finally, a big part of this live event, it's really to do a live demo to show you all the features live and how you can really elevate and supercharge your user experience in Salesforce. And again, Q&A, so if you have any question regarding the application, feel free to post your question over the chat, and I will be very happy to answer your question. So let's jump into the first part. What are the challenges of customizing Salesforce UI? I would say the first one, it's really the standard layout, which often lacks of flexibility, especially if you have specific business processes. Because yes, Salesforce gives us access to out-of-the-box page layout, but they are not always enough. They are not always flexible to really adapt your Salesforce for your specific needs, for your specific users, like displaying dynamic data based on a user role, or also to automate some steps. And most importantly, for that, users really want to display and to see visual information coming from their Salesforce data. This is really where the beauty of this of using Salesforce comes from. It's with the data. So how you can also enhance data visualization in Salesforce. The second part, it's really custom code with Lightning Web Component, Apex, and this can be a solution, but it requires specific dedicated skills, time, and budget. So it's not always easy to move forward with custom Lightning Web Component because this comes with a cost. You need skills developers, you need longer timeline, and of course, you need a budget. And not every teams, not every companies have access to those resources. Also, there is a gap between simple configuration and complex development. And here at Avonni, we want to reduce that gap because this is really where many teams get stuck. Admins can handle a lot of things with declarative tools like using Flow Builder, using App Builder as well. But if you need really more something dynamic, more customizable, sometimes you will face some issue by using this. So again, the goal is really to fill the gap between clicks and code. Then, fourth point, users increasingly expect modern, dynamic, reactive interface. That's true. I mean, users are used to skip app-like interface. So you can think about real-time updates, drag and drop, responsive UI. They want the exact same experience in Salesforce. I mean, they don't want to deal with a page that contains a lot of related leads just to see related information on the page. So this also puts some pressure on admins and also on the company to modernize the interface beyond really what's standard in Salesforce. And last part, I would say performance and maintainability of custom UI, that's extremely important. Users want to have the best experience in Salesforce. They want also to make sure everything is responsive, is loading fast. So that's where we also want to fill the gap when you're using the Avonni solution in Salesforce. Okay, what is the Avonni Dynamic Component Package? It's really a managed package of the already famous 70 UI component, Avonni UI component you can use in Salesforce, but it's really dedicated to Lightning pages. You can really use, by using the Avonni Dynamic Component Package, you can use the Avonni Dynamic Component and build your custom solution dedicated for Lightning pages. This is really a game changer if you like to customize heavily your Salesforce with performance in mind. So this will work for any app, record, and home pages inside Salesforce. What are now the benefits of using the dynamic components? First, flexibility. It's exactly like building Lightning Web Component with clicks, not code. And I will show you that in just a few minutes with my live demo. Second benefits, 100% customizable. Everything is customizable. Everything you're building is customizable. You can define properties, you can define interactions, style. You can also play with fields if your dynamic component is related to a specific target page. There is a lot of things you can do. On the back end, custom metadata. Why? Because on the back end, all the dynamic components you created using the package are generated as a custom metadata type. So it means that it's easily exportable between any Salesforce org. That's also a game changer feature. It's more under the hood, but we are using the latest technology from Salesforce to build this product. And finally, really big part for me and for a lot of users that are already using adopting the dynamic components, it's really the improved performance and in speed, responsiveness for end users. It's also easier for admins to build and create what they want to create as a custom solution on Salesforce. But focus on end speed. It's almost instant when you're loading a page. You will see the Avonni dynamic component in action live on a page. Okay, this is also a big part because I know that most of you that are watching this live event are already using the Avonni dynamic components for flows and that are already familiar with the Avonni dynamic component for flows, which is basically give you access to almost the same kind of component, but really more in the context of using it in the screen flow. So you will use the Avonni component for flows if you're really building screens inside Salesforce Flow. So you can think about guided wizards, multi-steps data entry, or also enhancing specific process steps. And also for me, using the Avonni component inside the screen flow, it's really if you want to leverage, business logic like decision, assignment, you need to use the Avonni component for flow because you have more building option, more visual component to enhance the presentation for end users of your screen flows. And then you have the Avonni dynamic component. This is what I'm going to talk about and demo you this product for you today. It's really if you want to, I would say, build custom reusable UI directly on your Salesforce pages, like app pages, Lightning pages, record pages. So there's a lot of things you can cover with the dynamic component. This is more for creating things like custom dashboards, like unique records layout, or also bring some interaction like related leads that lives outside a specific context of a flow. So dynamic components, it's really a game changer. It really brings the same no-code power natively for your Lightning pages. And also optimize for performance and built-in reactivity. So, we are in the business of the Avonni components for Salesforce for more than 2 years now with the Avonni components for flows and Experience Cloud. And we have hundreds of clients. And we realize that 90% of the business needs can be covered using a no-code application in Salesforce. The last 10% would be more specific or dedicated for developers if you have an heavy Apex pages or logic you'd like to put in place. This is where the no-code application cannot really do their job for those specific use cases. So that's really a key metric, because I think users don't realize how far they can go with no-code application in Salesforce. Okay, let's do a live demo. I mean, this is really, stop talking, let's do a live demo of the Avonni dynamic component in action. And again, if you have any question, feel free to post your question in the comment section on the live stream. Okay, so here I am on my Salesforce org. I'm, just viewing a standard record type like account. And as you can see, standard stuff on Salesforce. Again, a lot of things, a lot of information that's not always very clear on this page. The same for related, you have all the same kind of related stuff from Salesforce, but how you can really make this more appealing, and also how you can really customize more deeply the main layout of this specific record page. So that's really where the Avonni dynamic component comes into play. So when you install the package, and when the package is installed, you can get access to the Avonni dynamic component directly from the app launcher. You're tapping Avonni and you will see Avonni component. So now from there, this is my main screen to create my dynamic component that can be then used into any Lightning page. So let's say here I'd like to create a new component to enhance my account view page. So we create on new, let's say account overview, the name of my dynamic component, live create. And now this is the main builder interface. From there, you can really visually create your working custom component for your Lightning pages. So we build a custom component builder for the Avonni component. On the left side, you will get access to all the Avonni components you're already familiar with, like data table, Kanban, list, map. I mean, we have like more than 70 UI components you can use from there. We have new components as well, exclusively created for dynamic components. I'm thinking about the column component, the accordion, we have the profile card, we have also tab container as well. So there is a lot of things you can use. And you have also all the input fields available if you like to fine-tune the main user interface of your custom solution. So, okay, my use case is really to create this dynamic component that will sit inside an account page, so inside a record page. So the first thing I need to do for this is to go on the settings on my component and select a target page object. So it will be placed into the account page, so I need to select the account target page object. So, and by doing this now, and that's really very interesting, because by doing this, it really helps setting a link between your dynamic component to work with a specific Salesforce object. So now, because I link the account object, I can get access to the fields information from the target page object. So coming from the account object. And then I can easily drag any fields that can be added directly from there. So it's more, this part is more for customizing the layout using fields. And you can also display related fields from there that can be editable as well. And also by using the target page object, I can also get access to current record data. So when I will place this into a page, the target page object will know the context and will be able to link the page record to the component. So it will know the context of this component. Okay, so what do we have next on the left side? We also have resources. From there, you can create your new resources for your dynamic component. Can be a constant, can be a formula, nested queries, variable. You can do a lot of things with that to really automate the processes and also make sure your dynamic component really have the best information regarding what you like to pass into that component. Then we have here the interaction tab, where you can display and see all the interaction coming from a component. And you have the ability to create what we call onload interaction. So onload interaction allows you to automatically perform tasks before your dynamic component will appear on the page. So it's triggered once when the component first loads, and it's useful, for example, for pre-populating variables, like load data into a variables like record or text variable. And also if you like to run initialization logic, like if you like to execute an auto launch flow, for example, that's supported before the dynamic component will appear on the page. Here you will get the style, so you will see all the styles applying on that specific dynamic component, which also information about which component have this specific style applied and the structure of your dynamic component. So let's build this live for my account page. And I will start by dragging the column component. So I'm dragging the column component from there, and then I get access to the properties for the column component. So here I'll say, oh, I'd like to create 2 columns with a 4 layout, and then 8. When you're using the column component, you can go up to 12. So it's really the matrix from Salesforce. When you'd like to create columns directly from there, you can add as many columns as you want, but you have a maximum of 12 rows you can use with columns. Here I can say horizontal spacing between items, medium. So now I have this extra space. Okay. So here, the column setup, I have my 2 columns. What I can do next, I can say, oh, I'd like to drag a card and start dragging a card into the column. So here, let's say I'd like to drag this card and start customizing the card. Contact list. So I want to display a list of contacts based on that specific account page. So that's my card. Here I will say, let's pick up an icon. And let's play with the style now. So style, you can also create your style selector. Basically, you can create your custom style class. So custom card, and let's apply some, things on the header side. Let's say border color 1 pixel, font weight medium 16. So now when you go on preview, you can see the look and feel of this custom component with custom style applied for the card. First, I really like to see everything I'm building. I can see all the components I'm adding on the page. That's really nice. I mean, I can drag a column, I can drag cards, and I can drag other components. That's what I will do next. And here, you can also preview your component at any time to see really the look and feel of this component. So if you like to change, the style again, with the custom style editor, you can say, oh, I'd like to apply maybe a 15 pixel radius on the card. So again, when you switch to preview, you get the radius apply automatically. So now my card is set up. What I can do next, I can say, oh, I'd like to drag a list component. And here you see, when I'm dragging the list, I can drag the list inside the card, inside a column, inside anywhere. Why? Because there is slots available inside each component. So for the card, I can say, oh, I'd like to drag the list inside a card. So we do support nested component, which is extremely powerful. So let's say, okay, for the contact list, I'd like to display the contact. So I will create a query on the component. So let's name it contact query. And I want to query the contact object. And here, yes, I need to filter the data return because I don't want to display a list of all the contacts. So here I will add a condition, only display contact where the account ID is equal to the current record ID. And this is where the target page object settings I set up just before comes into play. Because here for the value, I will select mapped. And from the map, I will directly link that to the $sign component global variable. That's linked to the target page object settings I just set up before. And then I will just select record ID. That's it. Save. Okay, now my list is almost done. I can fine-tune the look and feel of the list, like, adding an image for the contacts. So I have already a field for that. So now I can see the picture. If you want to display more fields on the list, let's say phone, email, okay. Divider, so bottom. You can make item clickable. And then you can play with more things like avatar. If you want to place the avatar top left, you see the avatar is top left now. Variant circle. Let's say, okay, I like to put field layout maybe into column for my fields. Okay. Again, we are taking care of the screen size to make this responsive because you have control about the layout based on the screen size. And for action, okay, I like to put an item action to edit the contact. Okay, almost done. Again, switch to preview to get a preview of my dynamic component in action. Okay, so now almost done with the list. What I need to do next is really to set up into action. So I can set up two interaction here. The first one, it's on item click because you see the item are clickable. So I can say on item click, I want users to navigate to the record page. It's almost the same interaction as the one you have in flows. We have new interaction also available for dynamic component. So record page, it's the contact object. The record ID would be the contact ID, and then action name would be view, to view the page. And then here, edit, I like to put an interaction when they're pressing edit. And you know, the Avonni dynamic component is really a complementary product of the Avonni dynamic component for flows, different use cases. But you can use the Avonni dynamic component and have an interaction that will open a flow as a dialog. That's what I will do here. So item action click, when they're pressing the edit button, I want to open the flow dialog and open the flow contact edit panel right there. So now I need to pass the input variable of the selected contact. I'm clicking on the input button, on the edit button. So here, input variable, that's the name of my input variable created on my flow. And then I want to pass the contact ID value. And then we can say on finish. Let's refresh queries. Okay. Let's do a preview again. Click on edit. You can even preview flow model boxes. You see the preview. It's not functional, but you can previewing it and testing the interaction for some of the interaction available. Okay, it's done for the list. Now, next, I need to put some content on the right side. And what I will do the same thing, almost. I will drag a card, and the name of that card would be what's coming up next. Okay, here, style, what I will do, I will directly select the existing style from the card. And this will automatically inherit the styling customization I made for that specific style selector. So next, let's say I like to drag a combo box. But I will not drag the combo box into the content, but more like here at the top of the card on the right side. And this combo box will be a menu of manual items that will say, okay, show me what's coming next in the next 7 days. I will copy this value and then next 30 days. Okay, the default value when this component is loaded would be the next 7 days value. Then variant, just hide the label. Okay, so now again, do a preview. You see this drop down, it's there. So really a clean user interface. It's loaded almost instantly on a page. So now, here for this card, I'd like to drag a column again. So dragging a column inside the card and do a 2-column layout with almost the same things. So instead of 4 and 8, it would be 6 and 6. And some space between columns. And now what I can do, I can also play with the style, add some, padding on the style to make sure it's really not close to the card. And here, let's say I like to display some metrics information inside the column. So again, display the number of deals And the value will be querying the opportunity object. Fields, that will be the name, because I like to count the number of deals. And filter the information, that's really important. I need first to filter information where only show me the opportunity where the account ID is equal to the current value of the component. So component, and then record ID, save. Okay. And also, I also need, because it's next 7 days, so I need to also filter the information to only show the opportunity that have a close date that is equal to the date literal next 7 days. Okay. And same thing, I can apply some style, so custom metric, padding, so let's say small. I love using this application because to me it's like building a custom Lightning Web component, a real custom Lightning Web component with no code. So let's say background, not background, but color of the border, solid, radius 5. Okay. So again, if you previewing it, you get this kind of matrix. And then I can copy the component to save me some time and put it right there. So, but instead of displaying, deals, let's display task. And based on the task object, that would be the subject count, and filter by the same kind of filter criteria. Account ID is equal to the map component, record ID, and then only show me the matrix based on the task coming from. It's not account ID. I made the mistake. Filter by it's related to, for task related to, so task related to the map value from component record, and display only tasks that have a due date only greater than, due date only for the next 7 days. So would be less than value date literal next 7 days, if I did it correctly. Okay. And then you can also add avatar as well directly for the metric. Small, position, circle. Okay. But doing some metrics, that's cool. That's really nice. I can also apply some styling regarding maybe background color on the custom matrix style. Again, so when you do a preview, okay, that's cool. But the thing I'd like to show you, it's really on the column. You can, and that's true for any Avonni dynamic component, you can set component visibility. So here, what I like to do, basically, I want to only display this column with the matrix when this is this value that is selected on the combo box. So I will set a component visibility when all conditions are met, where the combo box value is equal to the next, the name of the values, I think it's next 7 days. Otherwise, it won't be displayed. So if I'm doing a test, it works. Again, speed up my process. I can copy and paste the column. And then instead of, from the column 3, instead of putting set component visibility all to the next 7 days, next 30 days, and the same, I will just fine tune the filters. So let's say, because the matrix will not be the same. So now if I'm doing a preview, it will show me the corresponding value. This is a preview, so it's not a preview based on an actual record ID. You will see the difference when I'm putting this live on a page. So once you've done with that, what you can do, let's say, okay, one last thing I like to do on this. build. I like to put like a card again, and let's say overdue task. Apply the same custom card style, and let's put a data table inside the card to display a list of tasks that are overdue. So query, create a query, that would be task query on the task object, and I want to filter the task based on the, it would be not assigned to, but related to the current account record. Okay, and then my query is set up. Oh, I forgot to also add a condition where due date is less than date literal today, because I want to only display overdue task. So less than today. So my query is set up. Don't forget to save the query. And now I can drag the column. So subject, due date, and let's say assign to ID. That's a lookup field. Okay, so let's preview this. Okay, almost that's correct. Oh, what I can do also, it's like adding some extra space between the two cards, so I can either drag a container component that will have a specific height, or play with the style of this card to add some top margin. Yes, it's way better. So now I'm done. I built this custom Lightning Web component, this custom dynamic component. Let's activate this. So now if I'm activating this dynamic component, it will be functional for users. So the name is account overview demo live. So now let's say, okay, let's get back on a page. Let's say I want to place that into, a record page. So here's how you can add your dynamic component into any Lightning page. You will go on App Edit page to open App Builder. And from there, I want to, so let's say, okay, I want to add first a new tab. Overview tab. And then here you will see a custom Avonni dynamic component. You're dragging the Avonni dynamic component custom component, and then you select the component you like to display. Account overview demo live, save the information. When you go back on the page, should be displayed on my record page. Okay, it works. I mean, let's say edit, I want to edit this contact. It's opening the other screen flow. Let's say 555. Let's save the phone information. It's saving it. It's also adding the information directly on the contact list. So you see it's instant load. If I'm reloading the page, it will be there. Great. So let's do a test next 30 days. Yes. I can see different metrics based on the settings I configure on the metrics. I mean, this is only one example of the dynamic component in action. And if you're trying to do the same kind of layouts using Flow Builder, you can't. I mean, you can't display components with two sections. I mean, yes, you can, but what you can't use a section inside the section. Here I have my two column, and inside this two column, I have another two column layout. So unless you go with custom Lightning Web component, you can't do that using flows. Next 30 days, perfect. I can go directly on the contact page. So that's one example of the dynamic component in action. I have more examples to show you. And then if you have any question, feel free to send me your question over the chat. So I build also this kind of user activity report. It's a dynamic component. You see, it's also loading instantly. Then I can select a user. Everything is loaded instantly when I'm selecting a user. And if I'm removing the user, it will automatically disappear. So basically, again, if we go on the dynamic component, how I build this one, I build this dynamic component, putting all my component into the canvas. And then basically what I have, it's like a container that will contain the set component visibility rule to display or show subsequent components that are placed into a container based on a specific set component visibility rule. That's it. I mean, I love also the fact that I can use container, and inside a container, I can drag other component inside the container that will automatically get all the settings applied from the container level, especially if you're using, set component visibility. So that's pretty much for my demo. So now, I mean, I already saw some questions, so feel free to post your question, and I will answer your question in a few minutes. But next, I'd like to, okay, what do we have on our roadmap? Coming up really next in the coming weeks, this kind of new relationship graph component where you can really, it should be displayed like an animation, or it's not displayed here. So basically you can use a relationship graph component to display relationship between a main item and being able to see like a graph of subsequent child item that belongs to that main item. So that's what we have on the roadmap with new component, this new component that will be available in the coming weeks. We also have future enhancement regarding the dynamic component, like a new pivot table component that will be exclusively available as a dynamic component, really more to analyze data in a dynamic interactive table format way with grouping, subgroupings, and you can also do calculation. We'll have also a new camera component to capture images and videos directly from Salesforce, and also dynamic components templates to be able to reuse and define your templates of components. Those are only the few things we have on our roadmap. We have many more things on our roadmap to really show you for this new product. Okay, so now that's really more the Q&A question regarding what you just showed today. And again, if you have any question regarding maybe future features or really more technical question regarding the dynamic component I demo you. So okay. Let me know if you have any technical question. I already have some great comments regarding this presentation and this product. I'd love to hear your thought on this, and if you have specific requests, let me know. Otherwise, I can maybe show you another example. Okay, I built also this kind of example, my opportunities. What I like about this, it's I put a bunch of dynamic component into my canvas. And for each component, basically what I did, it's I set a component visibility rule to only display this component because I have a button menu action at the top, where the button action menu value is equal to calendar. So this gives me this kind of result. So my opportunity, calendar, Kanban, grid, map. So again, you can build that on the fly, defining some set component visibility rule, and now you can get a fully working custom Lightning Web component available. I'd like to show you something else as well, because I mentioned about, all the dynamic components are custom metadata type. So if you're going on custom metadata type, and here you have the Avonni dynamic component, you will see all the dynamic component from there. So if I'm clicking on the component I just created on this demo, this is, the main content, the backend content of my dynamic component. It's stored as custom metadata, which is really good because it's excellent, because we have all the flexibility to store any type of component structure. And also, it's also easier to make this portable or accessible across orgs as well. So that's how we store it's more technical stuff, but the dynamic component created using custom metadata type in Salesforce. Okay, so I have some question. If you already have the Avonni flow component package, does the Avonni dynamic component are included into the plan? No, they are not included. Mainly why? Because it's a different product. It really serves a different needs. As I said before, the Avonni components for flows, it's mostly components you will use inside in the context of a screen flow. So if you like to do data entry, wizard, if you like to do some processes inside the screen flow, that's really where the Avonni components for flows works at best. You can use the Avonni components for flows to create more custom visualization for your page, but I mean, it works extremely great, but you might have some performance issue because we don't have the control on Flow Builder. Salesforce does. Salesforce have the control on Flow Builder. So there is some kind of things we can't control on Flow Builder, especially regarding the performance. I have another question regarding the pricing model from annual to a monthly model. For the pricing plan, I mean, that's really our new pricing plan, and we try to really combine all the benefits of using the Avonni components depending of the use case you like to use. So the Avonni dynamic component, it's really more the component for app pages and record pages for Lightning pages. So now if you like to use the dynamic component and also the Salesforce flows, you can also use them together, and you can get access to the component. And also we have dedicated pricing for enterprise, which will be more an per user pricing, where you can get access to both components. Also, I'd like to mention that if you're already using the Avonni components for flows and you're interested in using the Avonni dynamic component, we can check the pricing and we can make sure the pricing will be competitive as a bundle pricing. So feel free to let us know regarding this. So that's mainly what I'd like to show you today. If you don't have any more questions, feel free to play and test with the dynamic component. We have also a fully working documentation website. When you go on Avonni, docs.avonnicomponents.com, you have now this new dynamic component section where you can get all the information about, okay, what are the Avonni dynamic components, how you can use them. So you have a product tour. We explain everything about the dynamic component. And you get also a quick start guide and all the information. And you also get the link to install that directly from the App Exchange. So feel free to check the resources online regarding the dynamic component if you'd like to give it a try. It's free to use on the sandbox, no time limitation. And for production org, it's free up to 5 users. Does the component also support query based on map value stored on the record? Yes, it does. I mean, it's I didn't show you that part, but everything is built in with reactive in mind. So I can show you maybe a quick example. Let's say here, I like to display. What I like to do, I like to show you how you can use reactivity between components. So let's say I'd like to drag a tabs component that will be querying the get account and vertical. Okay, so now I get a list of accounts using tabs. And here I'd like to display on the right side a data table and doing a query to display the opportunities. So I will display opportunities and name. I'm doing this very quickly in the stage. So now if you like to connect, the tabs and the value from the tabs with the data table component, I need to fine tune the query from the data table because I think it's not filtering any information. So I want to filter the information coming from the opportunity object and only display, the opportunities where the account ID is equal to the value of the item selected on the tab. So I will map that to tabs component, active tab value. That's it. I don't need to use a complex or to create a complex formula to have this setup. No. Now, if I'm doing a preview, it works. It's built-in reactive between components, so you can, yes, also apply that kind of logic when you trying to map values that are stored from a record component, directly from the record. Thank you so much for your comments. I really appreciate that. I mean, yes, we did an amazing job with this application, and that's only the beginning. We are building the platform inside the platform. It's extremely powerful, especially if you like to customize the UI part on Salesforce without having to custom code. I will be very happy to host other live events more dedicated to specific features in the near future, because there is obviously a lot to cover. I cannot cover everything into that live event, but again, feel free to post your comment. Even after this live event, I will be happy to answer your question. You will put directly on the chat. So if you don't have any more questions, I mean, that's pretty much done from me. I would be happy again to answer more questions if you do have more questions. Thank you so much for your time, for watching this live event. It was really an honor to be with you today and to show you this live. Yes, it's similar. It's the same, because I have a question that I can see I've been looking at similar using your component as interface using flow component. Yes, that's the same component, but what we are building, it's really a suite of components you can use on Salesforce depending of the usage. So it's all the same components, but for specific use cases. If you like to use component inside the screen flows, or if you like to use component now inside the Lightning page. So again, the goal is really to cover everything you can build in Salesforce using pre-built components, additional components you can even use on Experience Cloud sites. Sure, keep me posted. So again, thank you so much, everyone, for watching this live event with me today, and let me know your thought, and happy building with the Avonni dynamic component. Have a good day. Bye-bye.